Alright, welcome to part 3 on the XJ. Today we will be working on the front suspension, getting the new lift installed, getting all that nice and prettified. As you can see, it's all pretty gross in here. I've talked about this in the past. The only thing I don't think I have are new bump stops. I'll have to figure that out. But it's a suspension kit from Rusty's. It's the 3-inch, and hopefully it'll help get this thing a little taller so I can fit the 33s without cutting. We'll see. Should be pretty good. Alright, so step 1 was getting some of the basic things taken out. I have the new front control arms, and the taller looking coil springs, and some nice extended brake lines. And then in there are the shocks for all 4 corners, instructions, and the U-bolts as well. For the springs for the back. Maybe we'll do that today too, see how enthusiastic I am about this. And finally, a new track bar as well, which is pretty cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on disassembling this corner. Get some stuff disconnected, and I'll set up the camera to bring you along. Alright, so step 1 was getting the top shock bolt off, which was a bit of a pain. And now the next step is getting the lower parts of the shock off. I don't know that it's strictly necessary, but I did go ahead and jack up the axle just to remove any risk of weirdness happening. We need to figure out a better way to get on that side. It says to use a wrench, which I absolutely do not want to do. I think I know how to get to that other one. It also says that I need to reuse this hardware on the bottom, which I'm not exactly looking forward to. Fuck. Just maybe. Nope. That one I might need to use a wrench to at least break loose. Come here. Come on. Oh, you're kidding me. It's just turning a nut on the bottom. All of this has been no progress at all. I brought a 13 and a 14, just because the 14 feels a little loose. Oh, it's because it's a 13. That would certainly explain it, huh? I'm already so over this. I'm on my second bolt. I'm sure people that watch a video this nerdy also have watched Top Gear at some point in their lives. which makes me feel free to say that for some reason I keep hearing James May from the African special just say, this one has a chair and a table. Alright, step 2 is getting rid of this sway bar end link right here. That's on there. Sorry, I guess you can't probably see anything. God, are you kidding me? I'm gonna try a little kinetic pressure, let's say. Ow. I think that might be a little stuck. Alright, it's less stuck now. Now I think they're just stuck together. Oh, there we go. Turns out sometimes a hammer is the right tool for a job. And additionally, I feel like I should probably explain that I do not intend to use this sway bar. And definitely not these end links. I would like to run a sway bar, at the very least, in the front, but not this one. Okay. Neato burrito. Alright, I'm gonna go take the rest of the sway bar off and then I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, up next is removing this 15mm bolt off the track bar. so that we can get it fully, or get the axle to fully droop as needed. And there's not enough room to be able to use a ratchet. I'll tell you, I've been going to the gym recently. I'm very happy about it. Just because that would have been worse. Ow. Anyway, well, you get the idea. I'll just go ahead and finish this up real quick. Alright, so I got the track bar disconnected. I didn't have enough space to get this out with the Rugged Ridge or Rough Country, whatever it is, steering kit. So I had to pop that off, which is an inconvenience, and now I need a new castle nut because I was an idiot. But the good news is now we should be able to lower this once I remove the little coil spring mount, or the retainer clips on both of the coils. Let's see, I think I'm going to play catch up over here. The only thing that I haven't done over here that I need to do is remove that shock absorber. So I think I'm going to do that real quick and charge up the GoPro, and then I will drop the axle, and then we'll start doing some interesting stuff. So just hang tight. Alright, so I got the track bar disconnected, I got the retainers off, and I got that other shock off. So now let's go ahead and lower the axle and see if we can get those springs out. It should be pretty cool. Let's take a look. Oh, that was a little quick. Alright. I'm going to leave this under here as kind of a safety precaution. But, yeah, I think we might be able to finagle that. I'm going to grab a crowbar and see if I can do something there. Let's see if I can find a good angle on this. Yeah, that's gonna come out real nice. Ah, there we go. That's some progress right there. Come on, we're so close. There it is. One coil spring out. Alright, so I just had a quick lunch, and you can see the old and new spring next to each other here. It's not physically much taller, but The coils are a little bit closer together, and also it's a slightly thicker diameter, as you can see. So it's definitely going to ride a little rougher, but I still think it'll be an improvement. Then I can actually have these 31s on here and not worry about them. The bump stops that I bought are too small. Or sorry, they're too big. They basically like are larger than this external diameter. So I'm just going to forego them for now. I'll put some in eventually, and then it'll be control arms, and then the track bar, and then just get it on its wheels, tighten everything down, and move on to the rear. Alright, I'm actually going to try disconnecting the lower control arms, because it looks like it's bottoming out right there. So I'm going to do that. It'll still stay located enough because of the upper control arms, but that way I can try and get a little bit more droop. I'm still not on the brake lines. They're not stressed at all, which is nice. It looks like maybe these were already extended at one point, but I'm still going to replace them with new ones anyway. So, stand by. Alright, well, the lower control arm is gone on this side. Both the nuts are off on the other side, but the bolt is somehow interfering with the upper control arm mount on the passenger side. I think I need to sort of bend the tabs in a little bit on the mount for the lower control arm so I'm able to get it out. And it'd be easier if I could kind of wiggle the lower control arm around a little bit, but the rear bolt is like hard seized in there, so I'm going to see if I can borrow a what's it called, an impact from somebody, because I don't have one. Otherwise this will be going a lot faster. But I'm still going to try and see if that's enough to get a coil on this side. I have a feeling that this brake line is gonna stretch, but again, that's not really a problem because we have a replacement. I just noticed a big shiny ball of glue down there. Huh. I wonder where that came from. Well, that's concerning. Okay, I don't know, is that visible from here? Yeah, just maybe a little bit. It's right down there. Just looks like a perfect little gob of like fresh grease. I'm gonna have to investigate that. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and lower this. Alright, yep, that is a fully stretched brake line. Don't do that. Poor thing. Alright. Oh, look at all the room I have now. Wow. And this is barely going to take any convincing, I think. At least I hope. Well, would you look at that? Alright. That's roughly where it goes. I'm going to go ahead and lift that back up. didn't think about it, but because that side doesn't have a spring in it, it's not going to do anything to really relieve the pressure. So let me see if I can try and get the other one finagled in there, and I'll come back. Alright, up next, look at this big beefy lower control arm. This looks so much nicer than this old stamped steel one. It's just gonna be a lot sturdier. On the surface, I'm sure it seems weird that the first thing I'm doing is, before I ever drive this Jeep, is lift it. That's going to be a great blood blister. But there is a method to the madness. I want to have as many of the bushings in this nice and new and clean and pretty as possible. Just to maximize safety. And there's no point in replacing, a bunch of bushings if you're just going to replace components in a month anyway. And frankly, not that big on stock XJs. Like, they're fine, but there is a reason people put work into them. And it's because they can be better. Alright, well, I got the lower control arms put in on both sides. I got the axle side of the driver's upper control arm unbolted, but they use a T50 hex bolt, which might be the worst thing I've ever seen. The other one is slowly getting stripped, so I'm going to take them and replace them both with real bolts. But I think that's going to be tomorrow's problem because I want to go home. It's becoming very hot here, and I'm very sweaty. So, until then. Well, good morning. The Volvo is gone. It's gone off to the shop. It is many days later now, and I'm back to finally working on the Jeep. The main issues that I'm having right now are with these upper control arm bolts. They are these big T55, I think, hex bolts, and that one has been giving me a lot of trouble. So that's what I'm fighting at the moment. Just getting started today though. We've made some progress in this corner. Actually both sides. The lower control arms are in. They're obviously not tightened at all, so you got to do that when it's on the ground. But I wrestled the springs in. Still haven't gotten new bump stops, but that's on the list. So I'm hoping to at least be able to button up the front suspension today. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully I won't get quite as gross as I did last time. My arms were just like dark gray by the end of it. It was not ideal. But yeah, so it's Labor Day now, and I started working on this on the 4th of July pretty much. So this is definitely going a little longer than I hoped to get this running again. But, you know, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here is the part number. I got 2 new relays to put right in here while I was at the store. And those are the fuel pump relay and the auto shutdown relay. I think that might be part of my starting issue, because after I put the new pump in it, I wasn't able to really hear anything. I heard that both of these could be a culprit for that. So this isn't exactly related to suspension work, but it is maybe the reason why I can't get it to run. So we'll see about that. It'd be really nice to be able to move this around my shop once I have wheels on it. So we'll see if that helps. These awful bolts that have no good reason being, they actually are a T50, not a T55 head. I went ahead and replaced with a couple of grade 8 bolts. So I'm going to be putting those in for the front bolts on the upper control arms. I thought of replacing those bushings, but since I don't have them here, then they're just not going to be replaced. So that is what it is. But we're getting closer. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get these two new upper control arms on. Guess I'll go ahead and give you an A-B comparison. I'm just going to set this up right here. Hold, please. Yes, the sailboat that I've used twice. So that's just how it is. But sorry for the crotch shot. So here is the factory upper control arm. Very wimpy, very flimsy. I can actually like bend it with my hands. I do not love that. It does not bring me peace. Here are the comparatively way more beef ones. You can see no bending, and it's just a nice tube instead of a C-channel. And these upper bushings are way nicer, at least, so that's good. The driver's side one is all the way out. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in before I take the passenger side all the way out. And then I guess we'll reconvene after that. So, off we go. Alright, this one is in. The best way I found to be able to kind of rock the bolt in there, and you probably really shouldn't do this, is to take your persuader here and just kind of rock the axle back. And if you can do that, then that'll fall right into place. So you can probably see on the other upper control arm over there, I got that bolt unbolted, but it's still kind of stuck in there just from pressure. So I think I'm going to be able to get that out fairly easily. Then you take the top bolt out, and these have the little flag nuts in there, which makes it a bit easier. So once that's done, then I think all the major components, apart from the drag link. Drag link? What is that? This here. Anyway, most of the front will be done at that point, and then it'll just be the front brakes, and the front will be really done. So that's pretty cool. So here we go. Let's go to the other side. Alright, let me see if I can give you a demonstration with the persuader. See if I can get this bolt out like this. Yeah. Hell yeah, that really works. It's ugly, but it's effective. Now I just need to get this top bolt out, and we can get the new one in. Okay. I got it cracked loose, which is good. There's no way you'll be able to see that. It's up here, and everything is in the way. I'm going to use a big, long extension, actually. Okay. Come on. This is such a bad Okay, we are getting so close. It's like there's thread locker all the way down the threads on this. I've yet to have one easy rotation. It's been hell. And the only way to be able to push this thing is by using my thumbs. The exhaust is in the way, so I can't use a long socket. And if I use that long extension, I hit the transmission. Which means the only viable way to go is pushing down like maybe 1/8 of a turn at a time. Oh my god. With my thumbs. And as I'm sure you can imagine, they're starting to cramp up. God, how is this still like not even off? Oh my god. I have sweat just dripping down my face. Wow. Okay. You can see it's almost off, but it feels like it's just barely been broken at this point. Like, the amount of heat that I'm making on that socket is crazy, just from the torque. So, I said I would come back at the end, but I have no idea how much longer it'll be before I even get it off. So, I'll come back to you when the new one's going on. So, thanks for your patience. Alright, so I got it off. I had to resort to using this, which I really don't like these, but it was the only way. So here's the new one. And the best way to do this is to get this into its little area, which I can't do one-handed. There's a bunch of stuff in the way, but you just kind of got to get it up in there, and then you can rock it back forward from there. And back in this goes. Ow. Gotta keep scratching myself. Now, I once again need to engage my persuader. like so. Man, that went so well you'd think it was pre-planned. But anyway, I don't know if there's some kind of physics around the right way to put the bolts, because I think originally they were this way, or if it's just style points for people. I'm not really all that concerned about it though. I think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna tighten this up a little bit. That's good enough. And now I'm going to resume my personal hell. I'm getting this back one put on. Alright, so next is the track bar, and then the shocks. Yep, still shocks. Sway bar links, which I'm skipping for now. And then I'll need to reinstall the wiper reservoir. And then we'll be done at the front. Just have to tighten everything at that point. And make sure I don't forget to grease all the steering components. So, I'm going to go ahead and start working on putting the new track bar in. And I'm going to charge up the GoPro for a little bit. So I'll finish removing the old one and get everything lined up. Alright, I just got the old track bar out. I broke the cotter pin, so it was very difficult to get out. You can see there's still bits of cotter pin stuck in there. And also look at that bushing. I'm sure there are jokes to be made about what you could compare that to. Here's the nice new... Okay. Nice new track bar. Look how beautiful that is. That zinc plating on there. I'm a sucker for zinc plating. So, I'm going to get the bottom mounted onto the axle side, and then I guess I'll have you partake in some of it. So, see you in a few. Okay. This thing's gonna be so fucked. Alright. Now. And if you're thinking to yourself, this is a horrible way of doing that, come on, Blake. You're right. Fuck, I went too far. Alright. I'm just gonna have to figure out how to get that into the right spot. Do I have a punch? Yes. Well, now I remember why I disconnected. The steering. Alright, I went ahead and put the wheels on just so I can see what the height's gonna be. I think that looks pretty good. That's just, you know, the 31s and a 3-inch lift. I went ahead and jacked it up just on the axle so it was sitting at ride height, and rotated the wheels all the way back and forward on the steering, and that train is inconvenient, but it doesn't rub anywhere. It's really close on the fenders, or just on the little rubber portion of the fenders, but if it becomes a problem, it'll self-clearance. It's just plastic. So. I still need to put the shocks in, but otherwise, pretty much everything is put on at this point, and I just need to tighten everything down. I got the new track bar in place, got the steering put back together. So really, we're getting into the home stretch. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I didn't think it would ever be finished, but this is giving me some hope. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put the shocks in, but that's really not very interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. That's the front suspension done. And yeah, thanks for watching.